I'm Kaye Rodden. I come from South Gippsland in Victoria, and we've just recently started a local independent community-owned publication called Prom Coast News. It's now 7 months old.
Why did you start that?
The newspaper that had been there for a long time, 139 years, closed, and it left our community pretty much in a vacuum. And as a group of community members really felt it was important that we fill that vacuum to the best of our ability.
So what's your background? Are you a journalist?
No, I'm a scientist and farmer and retiree and a mother.
What type of farming?
Sheep farming.
Fantastic. And can you tell us a little bit about the demographic of your area?
So it's spread, we deliver our newspaper to 20 different sites, but it's about 5 or 6 main towns from Naarm to the east, Leongatha to the west, and down to Wilsons Promontory. And we have a demographic of retirees, climate change, well, not climate change, but sea change, communities, members of the community, and also, well, we've got a big movement of artists and retired newspaper people, really.
And speaking of newspaper, here's your Prom Coast News. Can you tell us a bit about the stories that are in there and the ones that you particularly remember?
This last issue, which was last week, was a farm focus because large LINA Gippsland field days, the farm field days were on last weekend, and so we had a farm focus and we had a large number of articles in there about farming. One was on robotic dairies, another one was on the largest celery producer in Australia, who has a big 1,000-acre farm just across the river from, within our region.
And, you know, at Croakey, we're very interested in health and the upcoming federal election. What are some of the health-related issues that are important for your community?
I think climate change impacts everyone. I call where we live is very soft country. You know, it has a very high rainfall. We don't get many frosts. We're not that fire prone, but I think all those things are changing, and I think the community is not used to the increased fire risk, especially that's going to occur in our region, and also the decreased rainfall. I think that's going to impact a lot of our agricultural pursuits. And also, where being Wilsons Prom, it's where most of the green energy facilities are going to take place. So we've got a large wind farm proposed off the shore. We've got the incoming Manus link, which is the energy transfer from Tasmania. And all of that is pretty much coming through our region. And it's, you know, there are a lot of people who are very unhappy about that, and there are a lot of people very ambivalent because they're not sure whether they support green energy, but they're not quite sure. Not in my backyard, I suppose. You know, they don't really want a trench dug right across the middle of their farm or through the beautiful native veg.
Do you think people perceive climate change as a health issue?
No. I still don't think people can. I don't think people link the environment to their health at all. You know, I think they're surface dwellers. They don't look at the bigger picture, most people.
And you have a history of being involved in land care. Can you tell us a bit about that and how that, you know, shapes your understanding of the environment and health as well? Land care, I like to think of land care as community land care rather than just land care as it's on its own. And I think it's all about building strong community connection to the environment and the people around you, and it builds capacity of people to be able to make decisions about where they live and how they want to live, not just about the environment but also their next door neighbours. And land care is now pretty close to 40 years old in this country. It was established in Victoria by Joan Kerner and Heather Mitchell, and it's a wonderful movement. It's one of the lasting movements. That's pretty much the last community group in many communities now. You know, the CWA and CFA and all those sorts of groups have failed, and land care seems to just continue because everybody really cares about where they live. So
So you can think of community newspapers as part of that ecosystem of communities, I guess, alongside Landcare, CWA. What difference do you think, or do you hope, your newspaper makes for the local community's health and well-being?
Well, I don't think any individual really should be in isolation, and I think without news and contact with other people around them, then it's very, very unhealthy. And I think having really good, independent, non-partisan information, well-researched information coming to them is really valuable to everyone. I mean, although the newspaper's always been paper, we've really just moved it to, we've now just established a website where it's available by subscription. So we're hoping to build a bigger demographic really and engage some of the sea change, some of the people that are coming and going, but also the younger demographic if we can.
And how are you funding your newspaper? Are you able to sustain a staff, or what are the issues?
So we're funded by donations. As I think I said in my talk yesterday, so, people were coming along the street and handing us $50 notes. It was someone took $10,000 out of their superannuation for us, right at the very, promised that before we even had a page written. So the community know it's really important, but we definitely we're not sustainable at the moment. Until we build up our advertising, which is an issue because we don't qualify for federal advertising yet. So we're based on donations and our advertising revenue, really, basically.
And do you see misinformation and disinformation having much of an impact in your community? And if so, what's the role of your newspaper in addressing that?
I think it's a problem in every community. I don't think our community, even though it's a small rural regional community, I don't think we're on our own. I think the role of a newspaper, a role of a really strong editorial policy, firstly, is vital. And I think the role of a really good regional newspaper is to make sure people are getting the facts and a broad range of opinions and knowledge, information. That's the basis of it.
We've just spent the last few days at the Local and Independent News Association conference. What are some of the things that you've taken away from these discussions?
That we're not on our own, even though we're probably the newest people here. I don't even know where to start. I think LINA is a wonderful organisation. I'm really surprised at how much support they can offer and are willing to offer for pretty much not a great deal. I think, I can't pick anything in particular. I mean, I've written pages and pages, like obviously you have too, pages and pages of notes. And I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to run the donation, the fundraising campaign at the end of the month. It would be great to get some extra resources in for our community, I must admit.
Is there anything we haven't discussed that you'd like to raise now?
I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's fantastic.
Thank you.